I think it's important that we understand the stop loss placements, right? So whenever we have these scenarios, um, you have to vary with yourself and ask the question why to yourself in terms of why would I put my stop here? Why would I move my stop? Would I like to get out of my position? Um, would I like to take this into here? When is the high probability to turn around? This is the high probability to turn around, and you're sitting here break even. If you want to continue taking the price higher, but you don't necessarily have to. Let's say you're actually targeting that because we're in a 2 inside the 2, right? So you need to follow along with the perspective on where do I actually want to take price? When do I move my stop in favor of myself? Where and when do I move up my stop to a position where it would make sense? I see a lot of people, not in here, but generally, they just move their stop because they don't want to lose. That's not how it works, right? Losing is part of the game, but the risk management, when it comes to risk management, you have to understand that you are moving and putting your stop at spots where price should not reach, because if it does reach that, that is an invalidation of your entire idea. So that's why a stop loss exists. Stop losses exist not for your comfort, not to feel good about now I'm not risking anything anymore. Stop losses exist to tell you where are you wrong. That's the pure point of a stop loss. Because now it's getting you out of a position in a situation where you are wrong automatically, and you can't ask questions about it. It's just, that's the way it goes, right? Can I ask you a favor too? Can you focus a bit on explaining direction of why you're bullish, why bearish if possible? All right. So in this case, I simply was starting to become more and more bullish. Why? Because we have more reasons to go up now than down. I don't necessarily see any reasons to go down here. It's just down and it's way too far back, right? So I'm like, well, yeah, if we drop, we drop. But when we're starting to create, if you look at this, right? This is giving no signs of stopping. Why? Because it doesn't create any new shit show levels, this and that. It's not telling you to go up. If so, it's telling you for a very quick period, right? But in here, now it's starting to create inefficient sequences to the downside hard so that you can actually move to the upside. Now it has reasons to go up. And the more that is created, the more in my mind, it builds a story of when do we want to go up. And at a certain point, it starts to tell me, right, now I'm interested in longs. And, okay, but Jay, how do you define that? Well, I just say that now it could change direction because we've built a lot of shit show levels on the top side, so we can actually run into them as we're going down lower now. So my idea is just more and more open to taking longs over time. It's not something that I just go, perfect, now I'm only going to take longs. No, absolutely not. I'm just saying that it's more and more open to take longs. And as soon as I'm open for it, and then suddenly it shifts to the upside, I'm going to look for a move to the upside to take out these highs. I'll just leave it up here, because that's the high essentially that I'm targeting in a longer term move. Now you're going to see probably some reactions here. That's the CBC. And that's the move up. Now, most likely you can move your stop into here. And this is trailing your stop, so to say, right? Let's see. It's most like it could still come back down into that CBC2 to create an ISS, but looks like it doesn't want to. Move up your stop a bit. It's moved up above here. Now, if you want to continue holding it for this area, the question is this. This is what you have right now, right? We're right here. Are you willing to risk 6.6 Rs for Well, about 3 hours. Is that something that you would like to risk, you guys? I'm asking you guys the question. Is that something that you would be willing to hold on to? I just want to see your opinion. You can hold on to it. You can. There's no really right or wrong answers here. It's essentially 3 hours right here, and this is 6 hours. So now the question is, do I want to hold on to a trade that is up that much? To do what, right? So I wouldn't want to, clearly. So I would just get out of my position, because who gives a crap? Yeah, it's important that we bring that up, right, Oscar? Because the reason being is the logic behind taking a trade higher up, longer move, bigger move, whatever. Whenever we are looking at those scenarios, it's important to understand that what are you actually looking to get and what are you sitting on? I'm looking to get 3. Oh, it's so close to my take profit. And that's what people focus on. But you're also sitting up $600 to make 200. That's a terrible trade if you were to enter right now. So what we could just do is if that's the case, wait for price to come back down here and take a new trade to here. You would grab the same amount here than if just holding on to that trade, but you've secured your profits. So you're always looking to secure your profits at all time. And you will see that at all of my trades, right? If you just look at all of my trades that I've taken recently, I don't think a single one of them has been taken to profit unless like maybe 1, 2. And that is just because I'm not too quick enough to get out of my position. I'm just too slow. So many people, they tend to focus a lot on taking their profit at the take profit level, but that doesn't make any sense to me. Why? Because you're always going to risk more if you're up $600. Imagine you hold on to those cash, and there's nothing more detrimental to your brain than being up $600 and then losing them all because you agreed for 200. There is nothing more terrible for your brain to go over, so to say. It's just, that's simply just not okay. And that's not something that people in the industry talk about. So when it comes to risk management, I want you guys to be very, very understanding of when you're taking a trade, where are you supposed to get out? When are you supposed to get out? Right? When? Where? The reasoning behind it. Where does the probabilities change against you? And if you just look on X as well, right? People, when I look at just charts, people like, for some reason, targeting like this enormous move, while you can just minimize your stop instead, take the same type of move, but the high probability portion of that move, and have a smaller stop. And many times even make more R's, right? This was a what? A 5.5 hour trade. This is not close to anyone in here's best trade. Not even close. And that's what I mean with this could be an average trade. And people think that this is like, oh, it just happens once in a month for me, these type of trades. But it's just because they're taking the bigger moves, right? The higher the time frame. And when it comes to these things, it's important for us to understand that when we're taking the scalps and when we're, so to say, scalping, it doesn't necessarily mean we don't know where it's going. It just means that we know where it's going and we'll take the lower probability move, or higher probability move rather, with a higher probability target. But we don't look to be right. And nobody talks how peaceful that is, right? And you said it yourself, Oscar, how How peaceful it is for our mind. Taking the profit. Lovely. Good job. You just took your profit. Now you can be wrong all you want, but you've made money while you were wrong. You've made money when you have been wrong trading the markets, knowing the next move. And that to me is kind of crazy. That to me is putting your odd or the odds in your favor, so to say. But of course, it comes with the understanding of where should I put my stop? How small should my stop be? Understanding where should I get out because of something. This area right here is literally the death valley, right here. Why is that the death valley? Because price can easily just turn around against you, right? Because it now has a high probability to run back down into the 2 inside the 2 when we're sitting at this 3. And yes, we do have a target, but that's an ISS target, and we know what we do with those PYs, right? That's not something we actually want to run into at all times. It's just something that exists there for us to turn around as well. So when it comes to these specific price situations, we need to be understanding that this is a high probability move. Even if it runs up higher here, we couldn't give a shit. And that's peaceful, right? That's peaceful by itself. Because we don't care if it goes to target. We don't care if it does something specific. We don't care if it needs to run into this, into that, into this, into that. No, this is the area of hope, that green little box right there. Let's hope it doesn't run against me. But as we know, price can be completely destroying it some days, right? Not seek and destroy conditions, because that doesn't exist. But price can be destroying some days. Why? Because you're making the bad decisions. You are making the bad decisions. And there is no, so to say, increase in getting better if you don't understand the fact that you are the problem, essentially. And that's what's good with this model, right? It's a very simplistic model, a very simple way of understanding price. And it's everywhere. It builds everywhere. There's sequences and trades everywhere with 330 sequences in a day. Or no, 330 setups in a day, in a week. Holy shit. I think I need coffee. I haven't drank coffee yet, so that might be the reason. But when it comes to risk management, we need to understand we have so many setups. Why bother with looking to be right? Let's just look to take the high probability move in the right move. Again, we've gone over this hundreds of times. The majority of us knows where price is going to go. The majority of us. So the question becomes, how much of the move do you want to take? Well, I would rather just sit in a 4-minute smaller move with a smaller, tighter stop loss that has the highest probability and it'll make the same amount of money as of if I were to take the longer move. And that comes along with, swing trading and so on as well. Like the people that talk about swing, like I understand swing trading. I understand that you can get into a huge position, right? And wait for long, and it's peaceful for some people. Peaceful for me is getting into a trade, sitting in a trade for a short period of time and getting the shit out even though I am wrong. That's peaceful for me. Whenever I want. I don't have to wait for 2 days to get into a trade. I had bills to pay when I wasn't making that much money. I was just beginning to make a bigger sum and scaling it all up very, very fast. But I had bills to pay. I can't sit for freaking 5 days not seeing a single entry. Because it doesn't go in line with this and that. And I've tried waiting for my trade opportunities. So how I know scalping is just better for me, I'll take the same RR type of trade as somebody else that is sitting on the higher time frame, but I'll just take them everywhere. That means that I can go into the market, sit whenever I want, and I will actually walk away with money, most likely, with the highest probability, so to say. 8 or 9 out of 10 days, I will walk away with a trade that has made money. And that's even if I'm wrong, right? And that's a very important perspective that people outside of the focus group, outside of the shit show model, doesn't necessarily have. And I've just started to realize that, and that's fine, right? That's fine. So scalping is very, very, very good for the people that don't want to be restrained to a time. And for me as well, when it comes to, FOMO and wanting to get into a trade, this never really was a big issue for me. Why? Because there were so many setups all the time that there was no reason for me to have FOMO. So people try to beat FOMO by being disciplined. Screw discipline, man. Change up your freaking model into something that exists everywhere. It's on all time frames. I can look at anything and I'll take a trade on it. And that is being calm, knowing that there's so much, you can take so many things that you don't have to take anything if you don't want to. You pick and choose which ones you want to take. It doesn't have to do with discipline. It doesn't have to do with this and that. Wait for the two to appear and you just take that too. Done. So that goes aligned with taking your profit before your take profit is taken. And with that expression, and I know a lot of people would benefit from this. If let's say we're targeting this level, we're just imagining that now. This is a pretty bad example, but since we're targeting the higher point, this is your take profit. This is where you take your profit. Take profit before profit is taken. Why? Because this is where price can turn around against you. And now you can be wrong and you've still made money. And if price is going down lower again into like this area to create another 2, right, to run higher, and then giving you a signal to go up again, you'll take that trade as well. And let's say now you're running into this high. So suddenly you made double the money when you were wrong. Like how there's nothing else that does that. And that's the perspective that people need to have. They're talking about risk management. Well, risk management is goddamn getting out of your position when price has the higher probability to turn the frick around. And keep risking nothing. Gets already profit before and keep some of it. Yeah. All right, you were wrong about your position. Good, take your stop loss. That doesn't mean I take stop losses, right? The other day I had a negative 2 hour day. And that happens. But the majority of the time I don't. Why? Because I keep on taking my profit before my take profit is taken. I keep on not looking to be right, but I'm looking to leave the market with money. And that's the biggest goddamn diamond that anybody in this freaking industry can get their hands on. Make money. Don't build your ego. All right, let's continue a bit. I get sorry about that. Kind of caught off the side topic, so to say. You see us running into that level. This could have easily, again, dropped down lower, right? So I don't want to sit in that. I don't want to be, so to say. I don't care about being right or wrong, right? The big question here is, I don't know exactly where she wants to go here. Wants to go up. You could see that as a higher time frame too, sure, right? It could be a higher time frame too, but we don't necessarily like those. At least not me. Oscar and Kai might like that, but that's not my type of my piece of cake, so to say. But it looks like it's clearly gonna look to run higher depending on how we are acting here. We're running 2 breathing rooms, right? That's 2 breathing rooms right there. We have another breathing room sitting here. So this is actually a pretty neat spot to take us higher into the next level, right? That's something definitely that I would look to run towards. So now we have this area within here. We can most likely see price come back. You can look for a confirm in here as well if you want to. But just for the sake, we can just buy it here, and we can put the stop here, as I don't see a reason why we wouldn't necessarily move lower here. And now you say, but Jay, we have a high time frame too. Yeah, you know what I think about high time frame twos, right? You know what I... Well, god dang. Well, clearly you would have entered if you just enter here, right? You enter on that 50, so it's not this amount. I was just too slow to put in that limit order. And this is your take profit, and take profit, and take profit before you take profit is taken is sitting here, or that green candle. You can get out here. That's the high probability move to turn around, right? So if that's the case, we're looking for price to run back up here and get out here, right? Now, of course, if I were to go down to, let's look at the 15-second chart. All right, now it looks even more better, because in this case, you would now enter here and have your stop here, right? And this is what I talk with people about, right? They're like, it's impossible to grab this amount of R's in a week. No, it's not. Freaking move down your perspective on time, right? And in this case, this would be an entry right here. Right there. That is a freaking entry. If you're quick on the buttons, that is an entry. That's an 11-hour trade right there. Take 3 of those, you're 30 hours a week. And it's in a random area of price that looks like this. And this is a reasonable, normal trade to take. And I can do the same thing if we're to go back into here, over here, right in here. Instead of that, just that 50 tap, all right, let me confirm it. This would be the confirm. That would be the stop. What is the RR now? 7 Rs. Random, right? And then we go to the 5-second chart. All right, we want to minimize this even more. Jay, how do we do it, right? This is a completely normal trade to take right here. Completely normal. Now we're at 23. 23 goddamn R. And the point is not to hold on to this trade for eternity. If you have 23 R, who gives a shit about taking it all the way up here? I'll just take it here. That's a 10 R trade in literally 3 minutes. That's a 10 R trade. And it's a random price, right? So now you're sitting at a 10-hour trade instead of going over, so to say, a time period of 7 minutes, which people will be like, wow, that's amazing, and a bigger stop. Now you can boil it down into a 10-hour trade in 3 goddamn minutes. No, 2. Well, 3. Basically 3. So 3 minutes for a 10-hour trade instead of waiting for the longer move. Can you wait for the longer move? Yes, but who gives a shit if you can take 10 hours? Give me the money, piss off. That's how it works. If I have 22R, I want 23R. Who would be satisfied with 22? Yeah, yeah, exactly. I also want to add something. Some will ask why not taking the F2 above. And I can advise you guys that it's better an F2 that runs 2 breathing rooms and not just a simple F2 when it comes to entries. Yeah, so the F2 when it comes to those specific situations, right? The fail 2 is, as I've mentioned in the videos, right, in the lectures and so on, where you have the guaranteed spot that an F2 is actually an F2, like the official technical level where the F2 is actually appearing. But then you can also, before that, predict the fail 2 to be a fail 2, so to say. So fail 2 doesn't necessarily, and that comes along with, you know, sweep of the sweep and all of these things, these terms that people use, that I don't use, but there's a sequence to maybe turn around within a 2 to run lower, right? We know what that means. In these cases, we need to understand that the fail 2s that appear are mainly there many times just so it can be a sequence to turn around. But if we run two BRs, right, two breathing rooms, run both of them, that's the technical official level where a failed 2 has actually turned into a failed 2. Now it's like good to go, failed 2, right? We see it here. Running two breathing rooms, right? Right here. So we have that one, and imagine this on being the let's say 5-second chart. If we now run that high, that is officially a fail 2, and your stop would be here, right? And what you need to understand in these cases is that this would be your entry, and this would be your target. And this is why I don't like to enter on the fail 2, so to say, right? So when you have this very area right here, this is what your stop is going to look like. Now, some people will be willing to take that because I want to reach up in here. But you're just missing out on so much potential. And me personally, I really want to see price come into a 2 the majority of the times, because that will make sure that what? Not my target doesn't increase, but my stop loss decreases, right? So whenever I run into that level right here, I can now go back into, let's say, the 5-second chart. I can even go into the 1-second chart. And if you look at this situation, you run that breathing room and that one. That is already a failed one right here on CBC. So you can actually take your entry right here. This is a reasonable entry, and your stop would be below here. You run that breathing room, and this is the prediction of a breathing room being failed. But when we run the second one, that is a guaranteed one. So now you could be looking for a 2 to the upside, so to say. That I don't think it ever exists. But it would be this area, and this area would be where you take your long to go higher up, so to say. And now you would be waiting for all of this price all the way up here to take this very entry right here, and maybe have your stop like that, and to take it up to the last point, right? So that's the sort of point with this, right? This is an aggressive move, but absolutely normal, so to say. So we don't, in this case as well, we don't need to target this high because that's a 14. I'll just take a 7. And now you'll see why I like scalping more than just trading because I want to be right. I don't care about being right. I don't care about what are people going to think if this trade is that and that. When I'm showing all my executions, right? I can actually bring up you'll see that I really don't give a shit, right? Hold on. Like, look at this little move here. This was a trade. I think I took this yesterday. Do you see how quick this move is? Like, here to here. Smallest move of all time, right? And look at this. I was looking for price to run higher. Again, looking for price to run higher. That's just a simple 2, right? We have a 2 into 3, and we have another 2 right here sitting. And then you can take this trade right here into here. Take a profit. Even though I'm looking for price to run a back up in here. Take a profit. Smack. See ya. Done. I don't know what type of R's this was. 3.39, I'm pretty sure. something like that. But I can take these trades in which I don't enjoy. Look at this. If you compare this one now that I have right here, a longer move that probably the more people understand and know. Compare now that with this move. It's the same time frame. It's the tick charts. This is the 25 tick chart. What? I didn't even realize it was the 25 tick chart, Jay. That's the freaking point of a fractal price. You don't know what it looks like. You don't know what time frame it is. If I were to show you a chart, you have no idea what time frame it is. That means that everything works on everything. So it's like people that say that smaller time frames don't work and the higher time frames do, bullshit. They just don't know how to trade the smaller time frames. That's the case, and they're trying to cope with their own ego. That's all it is. That's all it is, and that's fine. But I'm firm to say that I suck at trading the longer moves. That's just the case. I have no problem with telling people that, and that's why I don't do it, because I feel like it's annoying. I don't want to sit there for all day waiting for something all day. And the people that do, good job, nice for you, lovely for you. I hate it. I couldn't give a shit if you like it or not. I don't, right? It's the same shit. So when it comes to these specific situations, you can see the difference. I don't like the left trade that I took yesterday, but I love the right one. Why? Because it's a quick move. Smack, smack. And this, as you can see, is literally about a minute. A minute in terms of a trade. A minute. And this one went on for, well, it's not too long, but this one went on from, what, 13 to, well, 3 minutes. 4 minutes. And I still don't like it. Because I'm a scalper. I'm a scalper at the firm foundation of where I'm at. That's what I'm good at. I know the point where it turns around, right? I know when it's telling me now it's changing to go to the upside. And as you can see, my stop is way bigger on this move in comparison to that one. Why? Because I'm taking an entry on that failed 2. That's a failed 2 right there. So I'm taking this long to the upside. So my stop is sitting somewhere around here. I don't want to sit in that trade. God dang it. And then guess what? I was taking this failed 2. I would rather take a better 2. Where would I take my long? Here. So I could have entered my trade here, stop here, and moved all the way back up here. And if I'm looking for that trade, that's probably like 11, 15 hour trade. I'll just take it to here. And I give a shit. And that would result in maybe like a 7 hour trade. Because I'm a scalper, right? I want to take trades everywhere, anywhere, at all times of day, any time of day, any day possible. FOMC news, I can't trade for the entire week. What kind of bullshit is that? Just wait for like 50 minutes if you think it's scary with FOMC and volatility and this and that. And the algorithm is out for my stop loss. Don't buy into that shit. God dang it. That is people that have a belief system. Somebody who they have to follow for some reason. Don't buy into that stuff, right? It's not worth it. They are literally living off of your time to be praised for not knowing what to do in the other time frames, right? Let's continue. Sidetrack. I had to. I don't understand how people buy into that type of shit. So we're probably looking for a move here, and then it's going to run down lower because we don't have another reason to go higher necessarily here. So this is where you'll be looking for shorts aggressively to the downside. And reasoning. So it would be now, and this is where that is stop. This is where you take your bigger short here. That's a high time frame 2. If you want to confirm it, you can confirm it right here. You can sit on a short within here to take it to the downside, minimize your stop. But the whole idea is this is the specific area. Why? Because you now have that sweep of that breathing room. That's a failed 2. It runs higher. You also have a 2 into 3 here. That 3 runs back up into that 2, which is the 4, but it's also the 2. running back down lower with the CBC, run down lower even harder. Does that make sense to everybody, by the way? It's the core, so to say, system. Yeah, everybody knows this stuff by now. This is basic. This is just the language. Basic language, right? But for real, like it's very important that you also need to understand the perspective on, just because you're taking big R trades, right, that people don't believe, you can minimize your stop so much because price is fractal. And that's the key here. People need to understand that the price is fractal. What you're doing on the 1 hour chart, you can do it on the 1 minute, 1 second, 25 tick chart. You can do the same shit. But you have grown comfortable in your spot where this is where my mentor said this is only working. No, that is just simply incorrect, my friend. I can take whatever model you want, and I can build a system that's going to work the same on the 1 minute chart. And it's also easily proven, because if I were to give you 2 screenshots like I just did on those 2 entries, one of you guys would say, oh, that's the 5 minute chart. And somebody would say, that's the 1 second chart. Somebody would say, that's a 25 tick. Somebody would say, that's a 100 tick. That's a 4 hour chart right there. That's a whole freaking month worth of price action. Meaning that you don't know. You don't know if it's the monthly chart. You don't know if it's the daily chart. You don't know if it's the 1 minute. What does that tell you? If you think about it, it tells you exactly what I'm trying to tell you. Everything that works on the higher time frame works on the smaller time frame as well. And many people that say that it doesn't, are usually the people that haven't backtested it on the smaller time frame, because they have just accepted that somebody had said something. But the reason why it's not working for you, that person that is saying that, what trading is not working for you, so to say, it's very annoying, very tedious. It's because you haven't applied you to it. Screw your mentor, screw me, right? Your point is to make it for yourself. You're not making it because of me. No, you have to apply you to a foundation that exists. That's when it's going to start to work for you. Nobody talks about that. And, with this stuff, what we are doing here, you guys are applying, again, your own way, what you like. The shit show model is the foundation, and then we build on top of that for each unique person, because everybody in here is going to have uniquely created models for themselves. And that's the beauty of it. It's absolutely freaking beautiful that's how it works. That's a freaking blessing right there. It truly is. And nobody talks about that because people want people to be stuck in this sort of schematic of learning and giving them more money. See, I've had, I was chatting with my support guy, Kenny, right? And we were talking about, all right, how do we make sure more people know about this? How do we make sure that people get in contact with this information that is life-changing, right? For so many people. And, we were talking about, the crazy and disgusting part about the, so to say, teaching industry, and why you see so many, and I for some reason didn't think about this earlier. The reason why so many bad traders and teachers exist out there is because that's their entire model. They don't want to be good. That's right. They don't give a shit about being good. They don't give a shit about teaching everything. Why is that? Well, they want people to keep on staying, having struggles with whatever they're teaching others, because that makes them more money. And that's the disgusting part about this industry, right? The business model is to be making you confused. Their whole idea is to make you confused. Whereas this, get the information, practice the goddamn information, and piss off. That's my entire business model. The worst business model in this business, so to say. It's the worst one, the worst performing one, because so many people succeed with this. So many find success or reasoning or can read the price in a different manner or change their way they're viewing things, and they start to build their own new thing. They feel empowered. Because the business model that I have is actually create independent traders and piss off. Send me a pretty cool picture in the future where you are living your dream life on the beach somewhere in the Caribbean, whatever. That's all that's all I'm freaking asking. That's all I'm asking for. Give me a goddamn picture whenever you've succeeded. That's all I'm asking for. And your freaking time and effort. That's it. So my business model should be, let's make sure that people perform terrible. Because if they do, they're going to stay. But it's also a balance. And this is what people in the industry do. And what I could have done, I could have drip fed this into you guys for freaking 3 years. Could have done that. Yeah. But I'm not going to be teaching for my eternity of life. I have other things that I want to do. I wanted to do this to give back, see other lives change, because it changed my life. So I was interested to see if others are going to change as well. And I'm just doing this for some time, and then I will piss off. And then for all the people that I have hopefully made some good, had some good impact on, they can just send me a picture later on of their family enjoying life, right? Because you did the freaking work. And that's it. Is there going to be confusion within this model? Absolutely. But what am I asking for people? 6 weeks of your life? 6 weeks. This is one informational thing that happens. And guess what? I'm not creating new things. I'm not giving out new things. I've done this from day one, and I will do this till the last day. There's no more. It's just a start with information and end. It's not like I'm sitting on 5 billion different this and that and this and that and this and that. No. What you guys in the focus group are using is what I'm using. Crazy, isn't it? What people in the 6-week program get their hands on is what I'm using. And it's the worst business perspective for me to take at all times to actually help people. But I'm actually helping because I want to help, and that's it. And then I'm off. I'm building other things. I'm, getting into real estate. I'm getting into all these other business models and AI and this and that and this and that. And building softwares and building with bigger teams outside of this. You think that I'm just sitting here watching the market all day and Jay's just sitting here. No, I'm using trading as a vehicle to build cool things. God dang it. That's the freaking point. And I wanted that to be that point from the get-go. Right? Make money from trading, transfer that into business. That's been my entire goal from the start. It's a matter of learn, practice, and piss off. And I'm now given, and now I'm pissing off. That's what I'm going to do. Lovely. Freaking amazing. Get to not hang around with you guys all day, every day. Jesus Christ, what a living dream. That's no, it's pretty. You're a pretty cool group of people. I guess you're decent. You're decent. Decent enough. I can survive with you guys. But absolutely not forever, because I have a family as well. God dang it. have a wife. I'm gonna have kids in the future. I wanna do cool things before I need to be there for my family, right? What are you talking about? We keep you better company than your wife. Yay, we're decent enough. Victory. Yeah. No, but the same mindset that I have is what everybody in this industry should have. We can have fun and we can chat with one another. I get to learn and know each and every single one of you, and I highly appreciate that. But at the end of the day, you have to think in the same manner that I do for your family, right? You have to have the same perspective. And every trader should have the same perspective, right? Learn from somebody, practice it, live your life. It's a mindset that is going to take you very, very far ahead, right? Very far ahead. We moved into here. It's just gonna drop. Many times you'll see a reaction off of these levels, right? We usually say where you take your entry, that's usually where it comes reactions from. You'll see this little reaction from here as well, right? So that's the pretty cool part about this model as well. Like, I still haven't figured out why that is, but wherever you would take a reasonable entry, that's where price many times will come into, bounce on, and then do something, and then move away. Either down or further. So this can move further down, this can move further up. I don't know. I don't necessarily know exactly what's going to happen next here, but it doesn't look like it's going to move up in a bit. But you see my point? It's going to bounce on the entries that you tend to take. That usually means you have taken the right entries, so to say, right? Running into this area, shooting away from it. We have, I don't know if it's going to run that low, but just play out a bit. I see a reason why we would move, so to say, up here, but I don't think we're going to, because it's like messed up here, and this is a high time frame too. So I actually think it's just going to either drop hard or just start to consolidate here. Can you trade within the consolidation? This is my favorite part of price action to trade. You can trade everything in here. Every single balance. 2, 3, move back down, move back up, move back down, take that 2, move lower, move into here. This is the favorite part of price action. Somewhat a consolidation here. Beautiful. It was a bit of a just a normal chat and a perspective chat, a target, a goal that we have, but also some backtesting, right? You have to set your tone for yourself. That's what I'm trying to say. Are you here to just please me? Are you here to go through the 6-week program to please me? Or are you doing it for yourself? Who are you freaking doing it for? Doing it for yourself, or are you doing it for your family? Even better. I'm sacrificing these couple of years for me to learn something, a high value skill, so that I can, so to say, save my family. And if you're joining somebody because the mentor, this and that, no. Trying to please him. Oh, look how good I am, Jay. No. You have a lot to work on, buddy. You're doing this for you and your family. Kill your ego. Kill all of that. Have a good foundation in terms of information like this. And you're golden. Right? You're freaking golden. If the Lambo is doing it for kids, because they'll be wanting Lambo sooner or later. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's that is it right there. That is it. All right, gentlemen. Some good. I think it was some good insights today. God dang it. Now I'm gonna go drink some coffee because I haven't had coffee in a couple of hours. I was up to 5, so now I need to. And I had like 3 hours of sleep. Now I need some coffee. And then I'm gonna be working on my future, what I want to do, what I want to build and create. And that's what every one of you should do. Go chase. Don't only go and dream, but actually just go get the shit done. God dang it, right? Get the shit done. That's what I'm leaving you with. Get the goddamn shit done. Chat with you soon, guys. Deuce.